on, guys? My name is Agent Psycho, and I'm bringing you guys another comparison video. This time between the P90TR and the UMP45. I've seen this requested by one of you guys who left a comment in like the first one between the my first one talking about which best pistol there is, or which pistol is the best, basically. And I thought it'd be pretty interesting because the last two were obviously on assault rifles. The second being or the second episode being between I believe the M416N and the M416 camo, and the third one being between, I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right. The CQB, the M416 CQB, and the M4A1 stop mod. So here's going to be the first one on submachine guns, and this has to do with the P90TR and the UMP45 duking out for the title of the best submachine gun, or NX standard submachine gun. So yeah, let's get started. So to introduce these submachine guns, let's start by going down their stats respectively. Starting with the P90TR. The P90TR is the NX standard variant of the P90, and it is widely regarded as pretty much one of the best NX standard I nearly said assault rifles, submachine guns. It's almost got that, or I shouldn't say almost, it's got that same M416 stigma to it, where the CQB, the M416 CQB is kind of like like people look at it and say like, he's using a CQB, just meh, whatever. He's just a noob bunny hopping with the CQB. The P90TR unfortunately has that same stigma because it is such a reliable and such a good submachine gun. So I don't know if you guys understand, but if in case people call you a P90 bunny hopping fan-based P90TR noob, you kind of get why. So, anyways, it does cost 700 NX for 1 day, 2,900 NX for 7 days, and for purchase it does cost 24,900 NX. And going down to statistics, the damage it deals is at 35, portability is at a 73, rate of fire is 82, accuracy is a 67, and recoil is at a 72. It features an integrated suppressor that is a unique suppressor that is only shared by the P90TR SE and the Viper's P90TR. So same suppressors amongst its own variants within its own family. It features very large ammo capacity at 50 rounds per magazine, but it only has one magazine in reserve, so you've only got a total of 100 bullets, and it is fully automatic, and you can attach you can only attach your own choice of scopes on it, whether it be ITEX or ACOS or whatever you might have in your fancy. And that pretty much sums up the P90TR. And then moving on to the UMP45. The UMP45 is the NX standard variant of the UMP family. And the UMP family isn't very large to begin with because it only has one other variant, and that's the UMP, which is the GP standard variant of the UMP family. And the UMP45 costs 900 NX a day, or according to Comrade's Wiki. I believe the P90TR also costs 900 NX for a day. Wonder why he said that. Anyways, for 7 days it does cost 3,400 NX, and for permanent purchase it does still cost the same 24,900 NX. That is customary amongst amongst assault rifles and submachine guns. As for the UMP45 statistics, the damage on the UMP45 is at a high 38. It is the highest damage rating of submachine guns in combat arms, or it shares the highest damage rating anyway. Portability is at a 75, rate of fire is at a 79, accuracy is at a 67, so same as P90TR, and the recoil is at a 63. And moving down the let's see here. It does feature an ITEC, integrated ITEC, similar to how the original P90 starts with with the forced kind of ITEC-esque scope. So yeah, UMP45 does start with that kind of a sight. It also features an enhanced magazine size at 35 rounds per magazine and 105 rounds in reserve. It's pretty much the same as the original original UMP, and yeah, it is also regarded as a classic submachine gun, though, because of the fact that the original UMP is so good as just a GP standard submachine gun. The UMP45 is slightly slighted in its popularity, because I mean most people don't see the point of having or buying the UMP45, because I mean hell, the original UMP just does just as well as the UMP45, so why waste NX on a submachine gun that you could basically buy the GP standard variant and it'll still do as well, right? So the popularity on the UMP45 is therefore not as great. because the P90TR it does have does feature a significant advantage over the original P90. So, with these statistics in mind, oh, by the way, the UMP45 is fully automatic, and you can attach both suppressors and your choice of suppressors and magazine modifications onto it. So now that we've discussed these different aspects of the P90TR and the UMP45, let us discuss why it is that, or which one of these two are better. So let's go down the P90TR's pros as opposed in comparison to the UMP45. The P90TR comes with an integrated suppressor. That's the most notable thing about the P90TR. Its suppressor is arguably one of the best in combat arms. It does not take away from the damage at all, if at all, and it basically reduces the recoil that you find on the P90. The kickback, it doesn't spread as out as fast as it would on the P90, and overall your recoil kickback while hip firing is reduced significantly. So that's why the suppressor on the P90TR is a very good plus that the P90TR has. Whereas the UMP45, it doesn't have a suppressor, so I would say in this case the P90TR suppressor is actually pretty much beneficial over the UMP45's fact that, you know, it doesn't have a suppressor. So there you have it. Let's see what other P90TR's advantages. The P90TR also has more bullets in the magazine, so do keep in mind that the UMP45 by default only has 35 bullets per magazine. I mean, by itself, it's pretty good, but the P90 has 50. Like, how can you argue with 50? The only other submachine gun family that can beat this, or let alone match it, is the PP19 family, where you have 65 rounds per helical magazine by default. So, I mean, that's pretty hard to beat. You've got a lot of ammo. The P90s are, I mean, not just the P90TR, but all the variants of the P90 are very, very forgiving in the fact that if you miss a couple bullets, you've got an extra, like, what, 40 bullets that you can have? Like assuming that you missed, like, your first 10 bullets because you're spraying all over the place, it's got an extra 40. You've got quite some time to burn through that magazine, and considering that the P90's rate of fire is only at an 82, whereas most of some machine guns have, like, at least an 85 rate of fire, definitely the P90TR is very forgiving in that aspect. You have a lot of bullets to work with, so there you go. On top of that, the rate of fire is pretty low compared to other submachine guns, so you can definitely be spraying for quite a long time compared to other submachine guns. So, yep. Going down the list of statistics here, going up by straight up statistics, it does fire faster than UMP45, and well, that's about it for statistics, advantages and statistics. So, yeah, overall, the P90TR I feel handles much better than the UMP45. While the UMP45, the UMP, the GP standard variant of the UMP45, while it may be one of the classic submachine guns, I feel the P90TR effectively competes with it because of its reduction in recoil, basically making it so that it's much more noob-friendly, and like pretty much a noob can pick up this P90TR, like someone who's never played combat before, and they can do relatively well with the P90TR, assuming that they know how to, you know, they know the basic movement controls, and they have a grasp of how combat arms works and how fluid the mechanics are. So as long as they know that, then then they can just pick up the P90TR, and we can expect them to do reasonably well with it. Whereas with the UMP45, while actually I'll explain that later. So yeah. Now going down the list of cons for the P90TR. The P90TR's cons. So, first of all, the damage obviously isn't as high. Like going down the list of statistics here, basically UMP45 beats the P90TR in almost every category of statistics except for the rate of fire. The damage is 3 points lower, so per shot you're not going to be doing as much damage, and that's just a given, because even though the P90TR suppressor is very, very good, I mean, sometimes I feel that because of the fact that it does have a suppressor, it just doesn't kill as fast as if it didn't have a suppressor at all. So I don't know. That's for you to decide, but numbers don't lie. The P90TR does indeed do a lot less damage than the UMP45. The portability is lower than the UMP45's at 73, whereas the UMP45 has a 75 portability, so you're not going to be running very fast with this. In fact, the P90TR in general does not have a very good portability. I mean, granted, you're still going to be running faster with this than most other assault rifles, because assault rifle, like the fastest assault rifle out there, only still has like 70 portability. However, the P90TR barely beats that by like 3 3 points, and considering that most other submachine guns have at least 80 or 82 portability, this is like really slow for submachine guns, like on the far end tier of it. So for submachine gun, it's actually quite slow. Accuracy, it's tied with the UMP45, so it's not really it's a disadvantage. And even though, as for recoil, even though the P90TR's suppressor kind of tones down the recoil a little bit over the original P90, it's still 72 recoil. That's a lot of recoil, and considering that the UMP45 has recoil of 63. That's really low, not gonna lie. And as compared to the P90TR, this thing has 9 points more recoil, and why that is because of the fact that the P90TR has a very strong upwards recoil, whereas individually the shots from the P90TR don't necessarily don't kick up as high as, like, say, individual shots from the UMP45. The drag that the P90 has, like, what I mean by that is that when you fire a shot, like a couple of shots at once, and you just stop and just don't do anything, what I mean by drag is the time that it takes for the P90 to go back down to its original position. I feel like the drag on the P90TR is pretty much longer than the drag on the UMP45. So I believe that's why the Nexon gave it a 72 recoil, because it has a strong vertical recoil. It goes straight up and off to side a little bit. Not as much as the original P90, but it still goes. It still has a strong upwards kick to it, and that's why I believe that it has like a really high 72 recoil as compared to the UMP45 63 recoil. That's like 6 points. That's like 9 points lower. So there you have it. And moving on to the UMP45's pros. The UMP45, I mean, most of its pros are in line with the statistics that it offers. It's got higher damage, higher portability, the same accuracy as the P90TR, and the recoil. The recoil is the same. Or the recoil, why did I say the same? The recoil is much lower at 63. And the UMP45, one of its main advantages is the fact that it behaves it pretty much behaves exactly the same as the original UMP45. I mean the original UMP. Literally, all Nexon did was copy pasta the UMP over to the UMP45, but giving it 1 more point of damage and a little bit different muzzle noise, and the fact that it has an integrated iTech, which more or less is pretty much useless. I mean, normally you wouldn't want to use sights for submachine guns anyway, but I guess that's an advantage in itself, because if you don't care for scopes on submachine guns, I mean, Nexon gives you a scope anyway on the UMP45, and you're free. You're basically free to use it however way you want. So you don't have to worry about having to worry about, oh, should I have a scope on this thing or not, and you can just equip the UMP45, just go into battle and know that you got a sight waiting for you there. On the flip side, though, that can be said, the same can be, or like the converse can be said of the P90TR. The P90TR obviously doesn't start with scope, so you need to worry about, whether or not you want to use a scope on the P90TR. But at the same time, if you know you want one, you have your choice of whether or not you want to use an iTech or an ACOG, because the P90TR can equip any scope, whereas the UMP45, it's got a forced iTech, so you're stuck using the iTech for as long as you use maybe UMP45. Other than that, the ammo capacity, while at first it's lower than the P90TR, the P90TR, or the UMP45 rather, you can still bump it up to 50 rounds per magazine, and by that you can just slap an Extended Mag 2 on it, and voila, you've got the basically the same magazine size as a P90TR, and on top of that, you've got 40 extra bullets that you can burn through before you run out of ammo. Whereas the P90TR, you've got to constantly worry about, okay, so when am I gonna run out of ammo? Like, how fast am I gonna run out of ammo, and other things like that. So naturally, because of the fact that UMP45 just straight up has more ammo, you're gonna last long with the UMP45, assuming that you keep yourself alive during whatever life you're using the UMP45 in. So your streak is gonna be long because you got 40 extra rounds, and yeah, sometimes having more bullets in the magazine could make a difference, but at the same time, sometimes just having more bullets overall could be more beneficial, so that's something you need to worry about as well. And in that sense, UMP45 just clearly straight up beats the P90TR. Also, well, according to the reload speeds, the UMP45's reload speeds if you don't have any magazine modifications in it, it's faster than the P90TR's magazine reload speed. However, there is a certain quirk about the UMP45. I'm not too sure if this applies to the original UMP as well, but I don't know when this happened, but as of the last patch or as of 2 patches ago, the UMP45 has had a slight delay in reload speed. You find this delay in other weapons such as the F2000. The F2000 is the first gun that comes to mind that has this kind of weird delay whenever you want to reload. It's kind of the same with the pistols as well, like the spammable pistol, like the G23 and other pistols like that, where you hit the R button or whatever your button is to reload, and then your character takes like a split second to register the reload, and then your character starts reloading again. The UMP45 never had that problem before, so I don't know when this started, but this definitely comes as a con to the UMP45 because now your reload, for whatever reason, for whatever glitch, like strange glitch that the UMP45 is suffering right now, the UMP45 has a slight delay in reload speed, and it scales with the kinds of magazine modifications you put onto it. So if you put on XMAG 2, the delay between the time you hit your R button to reload and then the time that your character actually registers that the fact that you've told your character to reload and starts reloading is going to become longer at that on top of that. So even though the UMP45 does have more ammo, and initially it does have a faster reload speed. I mean, with it, not only do you have a slower reload speed in the P90TR with the XMAG 2 on the UMP45, but also you got to worry about that delay between you got to worry about that reload delay. So next on, if you're listening to this, which I highly doubt you are, please fix the reload speed glitch thing, the reload delay thing. It's kind of annoying. The UMP never had this before, and I don't know why you put it on the UMP45 now. This just makes hurting even more. So yes, something to be aware of whenever you're using the UMP45. So other than that, the strongest pro that the UMP45 has over the P90TR is its straight up damage. You can't argue with 38 damage. The rating of 38 is the highest that any submachine gun will see in combat arms. You just can't argue with it. It's almost as strong as an assault rifle at close range and middle range. Of course, at long range it tapers off, but before that, it's just powerful. You can't argue with this. So I think only 2 of the submachine guns share the UMP's damage rating, and that's the M249 Para and the TMP. So something to think about there, eh? So yeah, strongest pro about the UMP45 is damage. Damage profile is through the roof for submachine guns, and the P90TR, no matter how fast, even though it has a faster rate of fire, it can't compete with the UMP45. Like straight up DPS, I honestly believe that the UMP45 has a faster DPS time than the P90TR. But we'll see that when that happens, obviously. But yeah, other than that, oh, I forgot to express the cons about the UMP45. So I've already explained one of the cons, and that's the recent delay in the reload speed, animation reload speed. So that's obviously a really big con. Another really big con is the fact that even though technically speaking the UMP45 has a much lower recoil stat, the spread is also quite troublesome. I've noticed that the UMP45 for some reason has it has a tendency to, I don't know, it feels like it has a larger max spread when you're spraying, so than the UMP40, just normal UMP. So that's something you need to worry about, because at its max spread at middle range, UMP really has a lot of trouble hitting things. I mean, it's no how should I say this? What's a good submachine gun that I can use? It's no M249 Para. Like, that thing's recoil spread is like crazy bad, but the UMP45, it does kind of have a little bit of trouble at middle range when your spread starts hitting max. So that's one thing you need to constantly worry about. And that's kind of like a con. So at that, let's see other cons of the cons. Other than that, I don't think the UMP45 offers any other cons over the P90TR, because the most of the cons that the P90TR has compared to the UMP45 is inherent in their stats. So we'll move on. So my final verdict between the P90TR and the UMP45. I want to say that overall, the P90TR is a better submachine gun, because you have to think about you have to think about the circumstances. First of all, we're comparing two NX standard submachine guns, which means that for any of you who are interested in, which, if you're wondering, okay, so which submachine gun is better amongst these two, or between these two rather, proper Englishation. You're most likely worrying about this because of the fact that you're looking to buy a submachine gun, and you've narrowed your choices down to a P90TR and the UMP45. If you were to just say, oh, I'm just looking at like a broad spectrum of submachine guns in general, then I would just tell you, oh, just go buy a UMP and you're good to go. Don't waste your NX on this. But the P90TR is a very, very good submachine gun. The reason for this, and the reason why I believe that the P90TR is much better than the or I shouldn't say much better, but the reason why I believe that the P90TR is overall a better weapon, a better submachine gun, and can do its jobs better than the UMP45 is its noob-friendly capabilities. Now, I don't mean this in a bad way. The M416 CQB is also extremely noob-friendly in that it has very low recoil, it's strong, it's very reliable, and I mean, overall, it's a very, very good weapon. And what I mean by noob-friendly is that, any noob can just pick this up and expect to do pretty well with it. I mean, at least, like, my expectations as doing pretty well, in air quotes, is at least doing positive, like, at least 1 KDR. So that's what I mean by any noob can come along and pick up the UMP45 or the M416 CQB. The same applies to the P90TR. I suppose there's a link between the two. So not only they're both very, very noob friendly, they're both highly reliable. They kill fast. They what is it? The P90TR has a very, very low recoil in terms of spread, so that means that you're going to be able to hit your target more often than your UMP45 will be able to, like at a certain distance. So the P90TR overall, it's much more forgiving. It's much more friendly, noob friendly, so that if a pro comes along and picks us up, then God knows what it'll do with the P90TR in terms of how much damage you'll be able to do. So. Yeah, I mean, sure, you've got to worry about like low ammo reserves. I mean, 2 mags and that's it. But I mean, assuming that you have the perk Resourceful on, you most likely you're going to be able to pick up more and more ammo. And in case that the P90TR does run out of ammo, then I mean, if you die, I mean, you come back and you have 100 more rounds of the P90TR, and you can wreck house again. So. Yeah, the P90TR overall, I believe, is a better weapon than the UMP45. To its merit, though, the UMP45 is still a very, very good submachine gun. I mean, it is based off the ever so popular UMP, which is arguably the best GP standard submachine gun, up there with like the PP19, like maybe even better than the PP19, and like the MP7 or other submachine guns like that. So, yeah, the UMP45 is a very, very good submachine gun as well. It's just that the P90TR, in terms of recoil and how friendly it is to players, in terms of how forgiving they are, like if you miss a couple shots and other things like that, I believe the P90TR does best the UMP45 in this kind of comparison. So P90TR better in overall handability, or is that even a word? Like overall better handling capabilities. Overall, it's more forgiving to players. It's more friendly. It basically requires, overall, I don't want to sound very demeaning, but overall it requires less finesse and less skill to use it very, very well. So UMP45, you gotta have a little bit more finesse, and you gotta know you gotta have a little bit more brain power in order to know like what you're doing with the UMP45. With the P90TR, you can kind of spray and pray with it, and it's forgiving enough so that it can still net you kills while you just spray and pray all over the place. So overall, P90TR, better weapon, and yeah, that'll wrap up the comparison video for this time. And I believe this is 4th episode, right? So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And if you guys have any more comparison suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will read through the comments and I will take note of them. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you guys later. Hacks! 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 Hacks!